They sent me to Farmington, and that thing is still going on. I mean, in Farmington, it's bigger than ever. They get huge crowds. They have a big parade downtown. It's really cool. And Doolin's Dodgers are going to the World Series, and he'll talk about that coming up. Obviously, SEC Media Days, day two. We've got Alabama, and already Nick Saban has spoken and sort of bragged that his players, his team, made $3 million last year in NIL money. 3 mil. Now I don't know if you saw this, but your old school, JMO, Texas Tech, announced they're giving every football player, including walk-ons, 111 guys, 25 grand next year. Payments start like next week once fall camp starts. I found this great. You know what that is? That's 2,775,000. It's close to what Alabama's paying their guys.
Sounds like Alabama needs, especially when you consider that last year Saban said, I believe it was at Media Days, that Bryce Young signed an NIL deal for like $1 million, which means the whole rest of the team
Made two.
Made two.
Well, and what is that? About a third of what Nick's making?
Yeah,
at
certainly
9 mil?
never going to be more.
Anyway, some Alabama, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Vandy, of course, Gabe Kuhn, Brett Norsworthy are also on site in Atlanta for the SEC Media Days. I think Brett could be maybe the dean there. We're gonna ask that. There could be some older guys. You know, there have been guys on Radio Row forever. I remember the early days when there was no Radio Row. There was a radio room. This was in the 80s when I first started going, after they did away with, and I never was a part of the Skywriters tour. So you know what they used to do? They used to handpick the best newspaper writers or editors or columnists, and they had an airplane, and they would go from fall camp site to fall camp site on campuses. It was called the Skywriters Tour, and then they just decided it was a beautiful, brilliant move. Well, why don't we just do this in one location and have everybody come to us, and we don't have to pay the transportation? So that's what they did, and it's been that way ever since. And we got a lot to talk about. Big news today was that the Big 12 and the Pac-12 merger, which looked like it really could happen, is no longer going to happen. That is off. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish have announced pretty much that it would take NBC $75 million minimum for their payments to keep them independent. So NBC is mulling around maybe a deal because they want something to package with Notre Dame. They're thinking about a separate deal with the Big 12. So you got the Big 10 is Fox. You got CBS with the SEC. That's kind of like NFC East, NFC West.
Going
right?
to ESPN though.
Which?
The SEC.
Well, the SEC is going to be ABC, ESPN. They're owned by the same company.
Right.
So they'll continue the mix that they have now. Fox will have the Big 10, and you will see maybe NBC going with the Big 12 to package with Notre Dame. That would be a big boost for those Big 12 schools. The fact that now they're not merging, maybe Memphis again back in that picture. We'll have to wait and see again how all of this plays out, but there's another new wrinkle. What did I say? This was just last week, I guess, or maybe, I think it was last week when I first came back, and I know I said this at the women's clinic that Ron Silverfield and the Memphis coaches put on, because I was asked a million times about where Memphis is going to end up. Is this thing dead? In my lifetime, expansion is evolutionary. It just doesn't stop. There's a few years where there's a lull, and then another domino falls. And I got a feeling this one's going to be the same way. There's going to be movement, and then there will be a stoppage, which may happen right now. We'll see what Notre Dame does. And then there will be another evolutionary process. All you can do if you're Memphis is ready yourself the best way you can. Do the doggone Liberty Bowl expansion. Get that thing correct. Keep on winning in football. Keep on winning in basketball. And hopefully the dominoes fall your way sooner rather than later. But it's evolutionary. And you saw Greg Sankey basically say, we're stopping right now. At 14, that's it. We're not doing somebody said, well, don't you want a Super League? He goes, oh, we're already a Super League. And he's right about that. So we'll see what's on the docket with that. And Steve Earhart's going to join us in the final segment today. Because I'd love his take. He went to Big 12 Media Days. Harold Grader, he sent to the SEC. He's pretty tuned in as to where the players are, who might be going where. We'll get his take on all of this sort of news. The All-Star game that I mentioned, National League is the favorite in this thing. You concur with that?
I'm going to be cheering for him as hard as I can. I don't know if they would be. I guess they would be a favorite. I think their pitchers are certainly. Well, they're all really good. Sure, yeah, why not? I like the National League pitchers better than the American leagues in particular, and the hitters I think is 6-1, half a dozen in the other.
Well, you got the kid from Tampa that's going to start, and then you're going to write Shohei Ohtani. I think they're only pitching one inning right now.
Yeah, probably so. I'm upset that the National League isn't starting Sandy Alcantara, which I think would be the Cy Young in the National League. They're starting Kershaw, which it's in L.A. and all this other stuff.
Come on, it's in his ballpark.
But he's a young guy. I mean, Kershaw has all these accolades except winning in the playoffs, which he can't do.
But wait. Where's the game being played?
In Los Angeles.
Okay.
Now, but this kid he's an up-and-coming pitcher. This would be a huge stage for him.
He's got to play.
One inning. But the starter's something special, And he's the best pitcher in the league.
No, yeah, you've got to respect the legacy of Kershaw, hometown guy, and it's all an exhibition game anyway.
Yeah.
Come on. What's wrong with you?
You have to feel strongly about something.
I just don't understand you guys. No respect for the elders and the history. Come on.
Kershaw's got to do it in the playoffs.
How about the way the stadium was to Albert Pujols last night?
That's great. What an ovation, though. That was awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
And he won the first round.
Well, I kind of – do you think Schwarber kind of threw that?
Maybe. I think the big thing is Carl Ravitch called the wrong – didn't have the right number in his head with what was corresponding on the screen.
He had two that he thought the first two were out, and they were both to the warning track.
Right.
You got to look at the scoreboard. The scoreboard would have – I don't know why, Ravitch was so caught up in the moment that, sometimes you do kind of lose your discipline, so to speak, and he should have been looking at his monitor to see what the scoreboard said. That's too bad. There's a lot of people think that Schwarber tied it in the second round. So they both would have been at 19, I believe. And I thought the pitch came too late. I thought the buzzer had sounded. So and then Soto actually said that he thought about losing to Pujols for legacy, for respect. And how about Julio Rodriguez?
The nice swing on that kid.
Man, I am telling you, I was impressed. How many home runs did he have in the first two rounds? Like 63, I think.
Yeah, 30-something. Unbelievable.
32, 31.
Unbelievable number.
And then he just ran out of gas. There is a fatigue thing to this.
Certainly.
And Alonso, who's the two-time defending champ, I thought he ran out of gas in the second round.
I saw a video of him this morning. He was doing deadlifts and squats in the weight room before it, and then he's doing yoga as he waits.
You know why? He claims those deadlifts are what activate his muscles in his legs
to give
more
weight.
power.
It wasn't a ton of weight, too, so I could see that.
I thought it was fun. I'm looking forward to the All-Star game tonight. I want to congratulate Steven Johnson, who is the Tiger beat writer for the Daily Memphian. Now, we love having Jason Munz on here, so we haven't really talked to Steve Johnson very much. But I always read him, and I've chatted with him on the road several times, and I think he's a wonderful guy. And he is a native Memphian. But he is leaving the Daily Memphian to go to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, which is a great newspaper, which does battle with the Dallas Morning News in the Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth. And he's going to cover TCU, maybe some Cowboys. I'm not sure about that, but I know he wrote on his Twitter it was all things TCU. And so congratulations to him. But you hate it when a local kid who grew up loving the Tigers and did a great job, he's going to go to TCU. But it's obviously more money. I have to think that.
Big program, too, you're covering.
Yeah, Power 5 program. Good for him. So congratulations to Steven Johnson. Congratulations to John Calipari and to Tamika Whitmore, the former Lady Tiger great who was a WNBA All-Star. They are both getting inducted into the CUSA Hall of Fame. Now, had you asked me before yesterday if I knew there was a CUSA Hall of Fame, I would have actually had to say, never heard of it. Are you talking about Conference USA? And they would have said yes. So Calipari had 214 wins in CUSA's with the Tigers, but really 38 more we don't count. Because he was, at the time, number one coach in the school's history till they vacated those wins. Now they belong to Larry Finch, which I'm proud for Larry and his family that he remains the number one guy. But Cal, he deserves, he's another Hall of Fame. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame, and he deserves to be. And I'm happy for him that he got that. And Tamika Whitmore was, there are a few Memphis women's basketball players that I think of when I think of the program. I think of Mary Lou Johns and Joy Lee McNellis as the two coaches. McNellis coached Whitmore. I think about Regina Street and Diane Jones. Those were great players. And Betty Booker was the first star of the women's basketball program. But Whitmore, post-college basketball, is certainly the most decorated of all of the Lady Tigers. We congratulate both John and Tamika Whitmore for the CUSA Hall of Fame. We're going to Atlanta in a matter of moments. Our friend Brett Norsworthy, stats on hand to talk all things SEC with Mississippi State, Alabama, South Carolina, and Vandy going today. And, of course, his Rebels went yesterday. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. You know by now the vacation at home sale in full swing, probably going to dwindle down a little bit next month, so get there. Where you can get play gyms and trampolines, $500 off, hot tubs in stock and ready. If you pick it up yourself, $1,000 off. You heard me, $1,000. Now, if you're really good at do-it-yourself and you want an above-ground pool, deal's still going on where you pick it up and install it yourself, you'll save $1,500 on all in-stock above-ground pools. What are you waiting for? Get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together. You know our title sponsor forever. It's Homer. Homer, Skelton, Hyundai, and Olive Branch. I saw another story yesterday where there's still a shortage of new cars. They're coming in, they're getting a few more, but there's still a shortage. And I saw where there's a common practice where people are charging $7,500 above sticker price at a lot of these dealerships and labeling that as a good deal. That'll never happen at Homer Skelton Hyundai, where Chris True says you never pay more than sticker price. They won't take advantage of the laws of supply and demand, not at Highway 78 and the first exit Mississippi Craft Road. That doesn't happen. You'll never pay more than sticker price at Homer Skelton Hyundai. So we go now to Atlanta, and I've been thinking about this. Now, there could be some other guys that have been there longer, but I'm not sure. Are you the dean, Brett Norsworthy, of all the SEC Media Day folks?
No, Dave, good morning. I'm not the dean. You know, Ron Higgins certainly. He has
yeah.
me in Wally Hall with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Wally Hall's still around. Wow, okay.
Oh, yeah. Wally's still here. I'm thinking maybe a couple of more. Not many. I'm in the top 5%, I would say.
I would say that Wally Hall might be the only guy. Ask him. The only guy that was a part of the Skywriters tour.
No, he was not, because he was Southwest Conference during Skywriters.
Oh, that's right.
And his colleague Bob Holt from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette's got me. I hadn't thought Kurt McNair out of Tuscaloosa. I see him. He definitely has me. There's not many, but there's of course Paul Feinbaum sure does.
Sure. Yeah. How many years though for you now?
Dave, I'm sorry to say it's either 24 or 25. I'm hung up on 1 year of the 90s, but you know how the 90s were.
Well, you know, which year in the 90s I might be able to help you out.
I know it, 95 or 96, and I.
Where
I think
was it? Was it in the Winfrey?
I think that was Medical Center, wasn't it?
Remember? I don't know. Well, that would be Jefferson County Civic Center, right? I mean, that would be the only other
Medical
place.
forum.
So the only places I ever was there for was the Civic Center one year and the Winfrey. And there was no Radio Row. There was a radio room. Yeah.
Yeah. I missed a time or two late 90s, time or two early aughts, but continuous stretch. I'm at 15 or 16 continuous stretch. It's pretty good continuous stretch.
Yeah.
And a very good local day. And, Dave, I can tell you, and one of our great sponsors, Mossy Oak Golf Club,
Yeah.
Tiger fans, right now, you need to be booking to stay and play at Mossy Oak. And if you can get on with it, remember at Old Waverly, for that weekend, September 3rd, for that big opener, Mississippi State's ready for that opener against the Tigers, Dave. They got revenge on their mind, and how it finished last year for State in Memphis at Simmons Bank Liberty Field in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl against Texas Tech. Our stadium was a house of horror for State fans last year, so they're really ready for opening day.
Man.
And I think you're going to see an improved Will Rogers and improved Mike Leach football team.
That was so smooth, man. You literally got Mossy Oak, Simmons Bank, and AutoZone, our good friends at AutoZone, all in
Who'd I learn from?
one sentence, one breath. That was great. I loved
Who'd
it.
I learn from?
All right. I got to ask you a little bit about yesterday. Two things struck me.
Sure.
One, Sankey, when he was asked about super conferences, he goes, we already are a super conference. Do you think he's not fibbing that they're going to stay at 14 at least for a while? That's one. Two, the other thing that really struck me was Kiffin, who rightfully so is complaining about, some of these collectives and boosters who can pay players legally without any kind of coordination with the coach. Which is like, how can that be? Those were two very interesting thought lines that were produced yesterday.
It was. We will ask the commissioner of the SEC that today when we have him at 5. We had told people yesterday we would have him at 4:30, but it has been moved to 5. We will have Greg Sankey with us at 5, so we'll sure ask that. I know where Coach Kiffin's coming from, but, Dave, when there aren't any rules, what part of not any rules do you not get? There are no rules. There's no guideposts. There's no standards. There's no ethics. There's no morality. It's just the ultimate Wild West, and the commissioner did say in his prepared comments yesterday that it's all at a state issue. They're still waiting for Congress to do something. And as we know with our country, there are more pressing issues before the House and the Senate in Washington, D.C. than college football NIL issues.
No doubt. There's a lot of other issues. I do wish there was some guidance in all of this.
I do too.
Because it is crazy. Nick Saban opened today by kind of bragging, but also I think he said that up front because of the past stuff with Jimbo. But he goes, our guys made $3 million last year. And the news came from the Big 12 that Texas Tech has some collective that has just flat out said every football player, including the walk-ons, are going to get $25,000.
Cash on the barrelhead.
Which is, I did
That's
the math.
what it is.
I did the math with everything. It's $2,775,000, so it's very close to the $3 million that Alabama is putting out.
And that's nothing for Texas Tech because they got oil money too in Lubbock, and it's nothing for any of these places. Now, Dave, what I fear, and I have had some people tell me this, that bigger boosters they've let it known to the athletics department, you got to decide what you want. Do you want us to buy that box to regularly let you have use of an airplane, for us to buy those bulk season tickets, or do you want us to fund NIL? Because we're not going to do both. You're not getting us coming and going. So which one are you going to decide on? And I think that's going to be an issue because what if you looked up in box and suite sales and premium seating sales went down because, hey, I gave it the NIL.
No, I said this when it first came out. I said you are going to have a battle between coaches and university fundraisers. There's only so much money. There are places that have a lot more than others, but there's still a ceiling. And now it's a battle between the school and the athletes for the cash. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it sure is. And Nick Saban had the day yesterday. So we had Greg Sankey yesterday and Nick Saban today. And I've said I think the four most important people in college football, the most powerful people in college football, Greg Sankey, Nick Saban, Jimmy Sexton, and Burt Magnus, the TV honcho at ESPN. And it all ties in. It ties into coaching salary. It ties into TV. I mean, I don't know what the incubator – I think the incubator, the starter seed is TV money. And then it goes from there, and the SEC's been able to tap into that. And what they will be able to tap into post the CBS contract, I think it's going to be mind-blowing. When they go mostly all ESPN – but, Dave, that's going to leave CBS out there. CBS is just not going to unplug their network at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon. They're going to want programming. So that's why I think it's still more positive for the Tigers than some have. And I know you join me in the positivity.
Right. Well, and CBS is going to put a lot into the Big Ten and make that their super league. But there's a story today, and we're going to talk with Steve Earhart, last part of the program, a little bit about this. NBC is trying to renegotiate with Notre Dame and keep them an independent. Notre Dame is saying we need $75 million a year minimum for that to occur, which seems like that's ballpark stuff. It doesn't seem crazy to me in this day and age. But now they're saying they want partnership to go along with Notre Dame, more programming, so they could package Notre Dame with something. And it looks like that could be the Big 12. Now, is Memphis back in the picture with the Big 12? That's the question you have to ask.
And that's what we want locally, because I said forever, it just makes it more fun. And for the Tigers fans and in Memphis, Tennessee, it makes it more fun for them to be relevant and good, because we've seen what the last 8, 9, 10 years, really starting with my man Gabe Kuhn hitting town. We've seen how fun it can be, and I know it's a lot more fun for you. It's a lot more fun to call the action and be around a team that's winning. Whether people want to assign us as homers or whatever, that's fine. Yeah, I probably am. I plead guilty, whatever. But it's just more fun when you're around something that's good.
No doubt. All right, last thing real quick. What's Mike Leach going to say today? And is he under pressure? I know he just signed a 2-year extension, but if he lost at home to start this year to the Tigers, and the Tigers are going to throw everything they got at him, that would be a real kick in the side.
Well, we know how you get in trouble, and that would be the starter. If he lost back-to-back years to the Memphis Tigers, and if he went third straight in the battle for the Golden Egg the last game of the year, Thanksgiving night, and that will be in Oxford against Mississippi State. That's the anatomy of trouble. We know that. But I think Mike Leach has done a good job. Now, from what I'm told by state partisans and insiders, is the addition to the contract was as much anything for recruiting. You don't want that sign out there, and that goofy state of Mississippi contractual thing where you can't have one for more than 4 years, where everybody else goes around at minimum 5, some places 6 and 7, and longer deals. And it's hard to skirt that with your foundation. People try. Ole Miss tries, Southern Miss tries, State tries, but it's an issue to try to skirt that, because technically he is a state employee.
Nope, no doubt about that. Enjoy. I know we're going to talk to Gabe tomorrow, and you'll wind things up with us on Thursday. We appreciate it. I know you're having a good time, and I know you're going to enjoy the All-Star game tonight. Who wins?
I will. National League wins. We're both National League guys, and I love the All-Star game. I love the player introductions, but I want to thank those sponsors once again that allowed us to be here this week. Quick Close Sale, Golf Sticks Pretzels, The Commissary, Belly Acres, Jason's Deli, Ghouls, Ronnie Grisani's Memphis Tourism, Landers Ford in Collierville, First National Bank and Trust, and I mentioned Mossy Oak Golf Club. And, Dave, you know how great it is. Both Memphis fans can use it, and Razorback fans. When you go down to Starkville October 8th, play at Mossy Oak.
But bottom line here is you can stay there, and the Tiger game on the 3rd is at 6:30, so you could actually play that morning.
You can play 36.
And head on over. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it.
You got it, Dave.
That is Brett Norsworthy down in Atlanta at SEC Media Days. Tim Doolin's coming your way in a minute. All this brought to you in part by the Eflin Insurance Team. There's another Tiger guy. He may be staying at Mossy Oak or Old Waverly for that matter. He's a smart guy, and he loves the Tigers. In fact, the Eflin Insurance number is 901-386-GER for Tigers. It's 4777. His whole philosophy is collaboration. He gets to know you, then figures out what is the perfect home insurance, auto insurance, life insurance program for you. What's the most important thing? What's your budget? He figures all of that out. Same thing with business insurance. If you've got a small to mid-sized business, he's got commercial insurance that will protect you after he gets to know your business. It's very, very simple. He gets to know you, and then he protects you. That's the Eflin Insurance Team, 901-386-4777. Baseball, front and center like it will be tonight. It is with Tim Doolin in just a minute.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, folks. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. And I want to take just a minute to thank the many, many folks that have been letting us at Russell Brothers take care of their jewelry needs. And we've made a lot of friends over 5 decades. Since 1985, we've been at 4646 Poplar, providing the absolute best quality, value, and service on top of the most magnificent jewelry that is to be found in Memphis. We want each person that walks in our door, whether it's for an $8 battery or a $10,000 diamond, we want to prove to that person how much we value them. We've been serving Memphis for 37 years, and we're still enjoying every minute of it and every relationship that we've made. Whatever you need, whether it's a wonderful piece of jewelry for someone special or a simple jewelry or watch repair, we would love to have you join the growing list of those we serve at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
When Chef Ryan Trim decided to open 117 Prime, Memphis' premier downtown dining destination, he was determined to make every single aspect of your experience at Prime something unique. You've heard of the huge selection of wine and bourbons at Prime, but they even brought in experts to create cocktails you literally cannot get anywhere else. The Straw Hat with Belvedere Vodka, the Borrowed Trinket with Monk's Road Barrel Aged Gin. That's just 2 of them. There are far too many to be listed here. If you want to try the rest, all you have to do is go to 117 Prime.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. Have you been turned down by your homeowner's insurance in the past 12 months for damage you believe you're owed? Call Brian Elder Roofing now. Our professionals will do a no-obligation, thorough evaluation of your property and document all damage we find. Our fully certified Hague inspectors are trained to identify storm damage to assess and build a full estimate in a language your carrier will understand. If there is no damage found, we will tell you just that. We build a data file of your actual storm damage for your carrier, all at no cost to you, free. So call now for your comprehensive roof guarantee from Brian Elder Roofing. Call us, 867-0303. That's 867-0303. Or schedule online at brianelderroofing.com. Because if you think it's a claim, we'll help you show it's a claim.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, it's hot again today. Hope your air conditioning system is working. Mine always does because I take care of it with tune-ups from Conway. I'm a member of the Comfort Club. You don't have to do that. All you need to do is really get it twice a year, $69 a pop. In the summertime, it includes a free-on leak check, and that's critical. And the fact of the matter is, if you keep your system in tune, it keeps your house cool, number one. Number two, it keeps your MLGW bill down. And 3, your system lasts longer. All you got to do is call 384-3511. Stay cool with Conway, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company in this whole area. That is Conway. Tim Doolin joins us now. Let me start by congratulating him on the Doolin Dodgers going to Farmington, New Mexico for the Connie Mack World Series. How about that?
Yeah, super exciting. We played in a big event in Dallas that was like a regional qualifier, and that's the way they have it set up. And it was actually my 17U team that's really, really talented, one of the top teams in the country. And the Connie Mack World Series, as you know, Dave, has been going on for 50 years, and it's an 18U event. So we're super excited about it. We're headed to Farmington tomorrow and got a big parade with tens of thousands of people
I
out there.
remember that parade. I really do, yeah.
Super excited.
I mentioned in the, I think it was 1983, that Keith Hagan's Tigers went to that World Series. They had a bunch of really good players on there. The left-handed first baseman, if I remember, was really the star of that team, and I can't remember his name right now. But it was a really great experience, and it's amazing a 17 under club is able to get that far. Who are some of the stars? Are they Memphis guys?
I really don't. I don't have any Memphis guys, but we've got. I got a catcher that's going to West Point, a third baseman going to Texas, a shortstop going to Oklahoma State, center fielder going to Mississippi State, pitcher going to Arkansas. So we've got a really talented group of kids. The left fielder going to Oklahoma. So really, really good group of kids. We've had them together for 2 years, which I'm very proud of because I think winning with having guys that you've had in your system versus just flying guys in like a lot of these organizations do to try to win a trophy is that's kind of anticlimactic for us. But anyway, so I'm very proud of this group of guys. Terry Bevington's been with me for about 16 years, former manager in the big leagues. He's on staff and super excited about going as well. So it'll be a fun time.
I hope you really, really enjoy it and have the best of luck out there. It is going to be one of those memorable things for those guys. I know that for a fact. All right, tonight is the All-Star game. Last night was memorable for Albert Pujols, the way he was treated by the Dodger fans and all the baseball fans with the homage that they paid him and all the bowing that was being done, and he upsets Kyle Schwarber in the first round. It was quite a nice night.
He's going to need. I can assure you, he's probably taken an ice bath this morning because he wasn't hopeful that he would advance. I can assure you, he was hoping to make a good showing, and he did. And darn if he didn't get to the semifinals against Soto. So it was. I thought last night was really, really exciting for baseball fans.
I agree. What's tonight going to be like?
Well, I think it's going to be. You look at this game, and I think. It's only fitting that Kershaw starts the game, having it, be in L.A. And he's really had a great season thus far. Coming off a little bit of injury, his last outing he was going into like the 7th or 8th inning with a no hitter. So I think the National League's probably has the nod, but you never know in All-Star games. I'm just excited about seeing a lot of the young stars as well as seeing some of the veteran guys. I think it was great that the commissioner had Albert added to the roster as well as Miguel Cabrera because they've done great things and been great ambassadors, not just future Hall of Famers to be there, but just they've been great ambassadors for the game of baseball. And I think that it's going to be super exciting to watch.
I'm with you. I thought it was one of the few great moves he's made. I'm curious what your thoughts are. I'm okay with it because it's an exhibition game. It really is. It's not like it used to be before there was interleague play. Nobody's going to do a Pete Rose on Fosse ever again.
Right.
But they're going to decide this if it goes to extra innings with a home run derby, 3 swings, 3 different players. So you're talking about 6 guys, 3 from each side, each it's 9 swings a side. Do you like that home run derby concept?
Well, the traditionalist in me says no. I don't like it. I want to see a game being played. It's just like I don't like the way they do extra innings in the big leagues there in the current season. But I do think that it's. I think it'll keep the fans excited, and I think it'll keep them in the seats to watch who wins. Because I do think that the home run derby is one of the big events in all the All-Star games that people love seeing balls go over the fence.
So this All-Star game, actually, it's the best. It's the truest of the competitions anyway. And it's also closest to the midway point when they have the All-Star game. So what are the surprises for you this year? What are the disappointments so far?
So I think the surprises are one of the biggest surprises are the Mariners. I mean, what they've done over the last, I guess, 3 weeks, and especially after the brawl that they had, they're playing great baseball. They got one of the top young stars in the game, and we don't really hear a lot about the Seattle Mariners or really, the West Coast teams that are not the Angels or the the Dodgers or the Padres. But so I think that's probably the biggest surprise, and then I guess some of the disappointments are. I would say, I thought the Nationals were going to be a contender, and now they're not looking like they are. And now you got, I think Soto's been really, really smart on how he's approached the talks of the offer that he got from the Nationals. And,
but that's got to be hard to turn down $144 million.
Well, here's the deal. I think it was more than that, actually.
Oh, it came out to $33 million a year for 15 years. I did my math.
Yeah,
wrong.
and so
it's $344 million, isn't it?
Yeah, $344.
Yeah.
And so he's 23 years old. He plays the game the right way. So it's almost like when the Dodgers were trying to invest in Mookie Betts, and somebody for that long of a contract, you got to know that this guy is all about the process of continuing to get better, and Soto's done that, and he respects the game, plays the game hard. Last night did not hurt his cause for commanding more money in free agency, because when these clubs evaluate how much they're going to invest in a player, a large part of it is saying, how much money can we recoup via marketing, via selling his jersey. All those things off the field are going to justify it. Well, he's put his name out there, and he's done it year in and year out since he's been in the game. So
let me ask you this: what can he get if he's turning down $344? Granted, that's not the most money per year. I think Verlander is making that, and he's like $46 million or $45 million, something crazy. But this was over 15 years guaranteed. That's hard to turn down. What do you think he can make?
Well, I think somewhat. I don't think there's a large bucket of teams that can pay him more, but there are 3 or 4 that will and can. And Boris knows that. Scott Boris represents him. He already knows which 2 or 3 teams are going to be in play to pay him more. And if not, what will happen is that because he's so young, someone could pay him a 6 or 7 year deal with more per year,
sure,
which would allow him to get another deal
right.
when he's 30.
Right.
So the fact that this kid's 23, going to be 24 at free agency, has a tremendous amount of flexibility for the player and for the agent.
Wow. It is unreal. Okay, so we know the Yankees are going to win their division. I don't think there's any question about that. The Astros are going to win their division. Who wins the AL Central?
Oh, man, flip a coin. I still think the White Sox have got a shot. They got to get healthy.
Yeah, they
have not been healthy. They got to get healthy. They got to get Lance Lynn back. They got to – things have to happen. But that division, as we've talked before, Wolo, is very weak. And regardless who wins that division, they're not going to go any further than that.
National League, Dodgers going to win the West. Who wins Central? Brewers, Cards?
I think the Cardinals will. I think it's one of those deals where I've watched them here lately. They've got a lot of tools. They got a lot of energy. They still need guys to they need Bader to get back healthy, and they need more production out of their outfielders. But they've just got a good mix of veterans. I think Albert has been nothing but spectacular in the clubhouse as well as on the field. He's put up, probably better numbers than they had expected him to. And I think the Cardinals are going to be that division winner. Okay.
Mets, Braves, who wins the East?
Oof. I would not want to bet against the Braves. They just, Austin Riley is picking up right where he left off, and very fortunate that he was named to the All-Star team as he should have been. It shouldn't have been a replacement situation, but the Braves just they're not missing a beat, and their second baseman's out, and they just got guys that are filling in. So I think that it's going to come. It's going to come down to them in the Mets. There's no question about it. And I think Showalter's done a great job, and he was the right hire at the right time for them. But I do think the Braves are going to win that division.
National League MVP.
Oh gosh, whew. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Austin Riley. I just think that he's been able to make so much progress in slowing the game down, and he doesn't miss mistakes. He's played a great defense, great third base, and he's becoming a big time leader for that club. So I think if the Braves go as deep as I think they're going to go, I think he's got a chance to win it. I really do.
And so, you got to figure the American League MVP is either going to be a Yankee or an Astro, right?
Yeah, you would think. Here's one of the things that I think, and not to take anything away from Mike Trout, but I've had this conversation with Terry Bevington a lot, is the MVP of the league should be a player on a contending team.
I agree.
Because when you're the Angels and they haven't won and they haven't been in contention, a lot of times when teams go in to play the Angels and they've got such a big lead, they're doing things. They're orchestrating their rotation. They're orchestrating how they pitch to certain hitters in a lot of different ways. Whereas if you're in contention, it's going to be, they're going to bring it a lot tougher. Much like when you go play the Yankees, you're bringing your A game to beat the Yankees, right?
Oh yeah.
And so I think it should be a player that's on a contending team, and I think that'll be the case this year.
We're on the same line here. I've always said it's not the best player. It's the most valuable player. And
correct.
And for that to be, the guy's got to be on a team that's winning to be valuable to get to the World Series or close to it. That's for sure.
That's exactly right.
Enjoy your trip to Farmington. Can't wait to hear about it next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Wolo.
Thank you. Tim Doolin on Baseball for Us. He's brought to you by Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Ken knows it's a big commitment you're making, that dream home, securing land. Maybe it's a renovation with innovation where he takes all the modern amenities and puts them into your older home because you don't want to leave your location. You love your lot. You love where you are. But you want the California closets and the island and the kitchen and the granite tops and everything else that goes with the modern-day amenities. He does that so perfectly. Go look what I'm talking about. Go to kengarland.com and then call him himself. He's an interesting guy to chat with. Sees little details, big picture all at once. That number is 751-1632. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. So the merger between the Pac-12 and the Big 12 gone, out of there, or is it? Let's find out from a guy who knows. That's Steve Earhart, the big cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He comes your way in just a minute.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There are a lot of people today that say they will buy your home, but there's one company that follows through every time. When you want to make a deal for real money, go with the real deal guys who will make you money. Go with Quick Close Sell Memphis. Quick Close Sell will respect you with a solid offer. No matter the property, no matter the situation, Quick Close Sell will pay you a fair price quickly and easily. For a no obligation offer, go to QuickCloseSell.com and Frank will call you right away. That's QuickCloseSell.com before you sell your home.
It's time to take it on at Gossett Mitsubishi's summer sales event. You need a new ride? We Gossett covered. Don't fret about gas mileage on your summer vacation. Get 39 MPG combined with 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage, $219 a month or $17,015. Take sporty to a new level with 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. 28 MPG combined, $349 a month or buy for $27,335. Plus, 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander, 7 seats, $409 a month or $31,795. And get peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Home 75 months at 3.69. Mirage NH00 6956. MSRP 17515. Eclipse PZ 00747. MSRP 28085. Outlander NZO 78023. MSRP 32295. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax file and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Last week, Big 12 Media Days, the Big Cheese, the head honcho of the AutoZone Libertyville, Steve Earhart, was there. News today, Pac-12, Big 12 merger ending. Not going to happen. I think it was the Big 12 that really made the big decision there. Steve Earhart, what can you tell us?
Well, I think there were just too many teams there. There's 10 teams from the Pac-12, and with the 12 that are going forward, including the 4 new teams that are joining the Big 12, 22 is just too many. But I don't think that forestalls the potential of some of the Pac-12 teams being interested in joining in with the Big 12. But let's go back. There's a couple keys here that I think some of you've been right on track, Dave, on some of your commentary, but I think people miss what really started this thing, and that was the very, in my opinion, horrendous decision that the Pac-12 and the ACC and the Big Ten made when they voted down the new package that had been put together last summer by Commissioner Sankey, Bob Bowlesby, the Big 12, Craig Thompson of the Mountain West, and Notre Dame. And those 4 guys, they put together a deal that would have been good for, the group of 5 as well, for everybody, because it would have been that there were 6 spots for the top, the champion of 6 different conferences, which meant that the American Athletic, or of course Memphis is a member of, and maybe the Mountain West, could have had, access, and that would have guaranteed access for the Pac-12. And when those guys stupidly turned that down, that meant that the power guys now said, well, wait a minute, if they don't want to have automatic access, and this is one of the key drivers, not only from a money, but a prestige as well as, futuristic, is getting access to the college football playoff. Because right now, the Power 5 controlled the money splits, but there was $83 million going to the group of 5, and Notre Dame had an opportunity to have access. So now the key now is it's not only about money from Fox and ESPN and of course the other streamers as well. It's the issue of who's going to control the college football playoff. And it's as those people have been watching, Greg Sankey's been telegraphing, if not saying outright, well, we're not necessarily going to say that the college football players should have any automatic qualifiers, because the SEC figures that they're strong enough. They could, if there's going to be a 12-team playoff, they could have six teams in that. Forget who's the champion of the Pac-12 or anything like that. So you've got the competing issues of television money during a regular season, revenue for these conferences, as well as who's going to control the CFP for access and the split of the money. So that's where it's getting very tricky right now, in these universities trying to figure out where they go. But there's been so much misinformation. Like I kind of laugh when I see, Oregon and Washington are going to go as a package. Hell, Oregon and Washington don't get along at all. I mean, Nike is an Oregon school and Washington is not, and, who's going to come where? But, Notre Dame, and I think I heard you say it in your earlier hour there, Dave, that, they or with NBC, and they're getting, I believe it's $22 million this year, and it escalates a little bit the next year.
And they want 75.
They want triple. I think they'll accept triple. They'll but they're shooting for 75. But if they can triple their payout, and then if NBC can lay some of that off with maybe some of the streamers like they're doing in the NFL, they could afford to pay that. Then so Notre Dame, that's their goal, is to stay independent. So all this talk, well, Notre Dame's going to go in, and then Oregon could come with them, and all this kind of playing cards with the thing. So that's where you are with Notre Dame. I think you have that right on the head, and that negotiation's going on right now.
And I wonder if the Big 12 backed out of this thing because let's just say NBC is looking for another package partner for Notre Dame. And the rumor is the Big 12 could be that, especially if they were to add Arizona State, which is rumored. Maybe Memphis is back in the mix with all this. What's your sense of that?
Yeah, I think Memphis, and again, you've been right on track with it by saying Memphis just needs to keep banging the drum, just continuing to got to win, got to be up at the top of the barrel, because that's what people want. They want to bring eyeballs to the sets, and if you're a winning program, and that's basically what over the last 10, 15 years that UCF and Cincinnati, done. Houston to a lesser extent, they're more in there because they've just got such a huge media market. But I think if Memphis continues to win, and you said it early, keep the facilities up and keep pounding the drum of what this community can bring to the table. And I think what Brett Yormark, and I know him a little bit from years past when he was with NASCAR, he wants to expand and make the Big 12 a national league. They're already somewhat there because they have UCF and West Virginia on the East Coast. They have Central Time Zone teams, and they have Mountain Time Zone teams with BYU. And if they were to look and add a couple of teams from the Pac-12, then they're truly a national league. And you notice he said that 2 or 3 times, and then that can help fill the programming needs of the networks that want to have programming all day long on Saturday, and maybe even some other weekday programming slots there. So, there's no question that I think things are fluid, but I think it may be some years before it all comes together. It may be even a few weeks, because right now the Pac-12 is in their 30-day window of negotiation. I think it ends August 2nd. I may be off a few days on that. And that's the negotiation going on right now. Now, here's one key thing. The Fox is trying to, close out ESPN from a share of the Big Ten, which could be good for the Pac-12 and the Big 12, because if there's no sharing arrangement between Fox and ESPN for some of the rights there, the secondary rights, maybe not the big games, then ESPN may be more favorable to put more money into the Big 12 or the Pac-12. So that's going on right now with the battle between Fox and ESPN.
It's going to be fun to watch all that. All right, last thing. Greg Sankey basically said we're not expanding anymore right now. We like it where we're at. We're already a super conference. Part of that may be because the schools that are rumored to be more helpful of the SEC brand than any others are Clemson, Florida State, or Miami. Combination, 2 of those 3. But the ACC television rights are so locked up. Please explain that so people understand at this moment. I don't think any ACC team is in play.
You're exactly right, David. And I've read the fine print in that grant of rights document, which all those ACC teams sign. And what that means is that, let's pick on, say, Clemson or Miami. They have already signed over their television media rights for their games to the Atlantic Coast Conference, and they've signed them over through 2036. And so if you just say, okay, that's a $40 million to $50 million a year average, so if they would have to pay out 12 times 50, that's what, $600 million or something like that just to get out. This is not like Central Florida or Cincinnati buying out for $18 million, out of their contract with the American Athletic. This is just phenomenal numbers. And Greg Sankey is too sharp and too good a lawyer to not want to get in the middle of, tampering with the ACC, and because those teams are not going to be able to afford. Look, even down in the Texas-Oklahoma deal, both Texas and Oklahoma, when I was there earlier with the Big 12, they thought they would be able to negotiate a deal out and get out early. But right now, it doesn't look like that, and they've only got 3 years of their media rights deal. That's why most of the planning in the SEC is not to have Texas and Oklahoma join until their media obligation expires in the football season of 25. So they've got this this year plus 2 more years to play in the Big 12, which could be helpful to the Big 12 and bridging some media rights there and some money coming in. Now I know Texas and Oklahoma, maybe they'll step up to the plate and buy out a year early, but it's pretty doggone expensive. And here's another thing: when all these media people throw around, these teams are going to pay huge, or not teams, the network's going to pay huge money. I mean, look at Disney stock here. I mean, they was well over 100, 150 a share here, and now it's down to $90 a share, and that's the parent company for ESPN. And you think they're going to get their board to authorize, huge payments and change deals? They're going to offer raises. The key too is the streamers. Are they going to get involved? And I think this fall we're going to see the success of whether Amazon on the Thursday night NFL games, how that does, and if Amazon really values that. So the streamers are in play. It's a Fox versus ESPN. Will NBC and CBS, since CBS got knocked out of the SEC by ESPN, will they want to partner? But I think there'll be some partnerships come together with the networks. I think NBC and CBS still want to have some exposure to college football, and the streamers are out there kind of knocking at the door. So two key things to watch: the CFP, how that gets negotiated, who's in charge, and right now, as Greg Sankey said, hey, the SEC and the Big Ten they're calling the shots there.
No doubt. Steve, thank you much. We appreciate it. You summed it up beautifully, and the drama will continue. I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, David.
That is Steve Earhart from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He is brought to you in part by Memphis Golf. So the MAC, the Memphis Championship, is taking place, I think it's at the end of this week, maybe this weekend, at Galloway. If you can sneak out and play Galloway today, tomorrow, the next day, whatever, you will play championship conditions. I wonder if Bo has actually cut the greens to the speed he wants them at already. If you want to really test your game, go play Galloway or play Audubon. They're in great shape. Oh, if you haven't played the new Overton Park, you're really missing something. I talked with Lauren Roberts about that yesterday. He's so excited, says that place will be unbelievable in 6 months to a year. The city of Memphis loves golf, and they have invested. It's a great amenity, and they understand that. Memphis Public Golf. That'll do it for us. Tomorrow we'll make golf picks. Is David Faraday leaving the PGA? We'll talk about that tomorrow.
I often say they've set the